Be our birthday is special, but it be no dear it does.
Yeah, of course.
And so can say.
Yeah,
Be our birthday, very special. But it's at the end,
that's true.
To Anna, me say almost first name in the Sydney. Who's a Sydney musician? Many go free near video, no, our money. Our money
now our video.
Me na see ko buga na ba no. Babo me ko tipampia ma hye sike gu mani ma. Mani bra bre me hwe benkum hwe ni fareze ma mo agum ye. You can imagine even at that time.
Yeah.
What was going on here Sydney near that concept now.
Inspiration trust.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true.
It we kwa abo ankoma ebidi and just imagine that time no.
Yeah.
Minim hwe kwa na mo Radio Gold. And
really?
Yeah, Radio Gold.
And that's around 2001,
2002. Do 2001. And yes, I brother, but but na me say more Radio Gold. Just imagine 2000, 2003. I brother Krano and a Sydney and a farm ni go free. So that time go free peaking his career.
Yeah.
You know, and or the me batao. In the media, me ko ya me na me represent Ghana. Post kakra menya na si ka maso go table so. Say yeah, finish Ghana within some seconds. You know, in the Sydney baby Obiano. Another great musician.
Yeah.
You know, very great musician. Baby, I will be also much. And another great guy back also A+. Nipa Perfume, right?
Yes.
I'm saying about 20. Dominic, A+.
Check details.
Yeah. These are great guys because we'll be ultimate to political song. And yet,
in a very.
We'll be ultimate to political song. Now, survival.
Yeah.
Not just singing it. Be able to or more survival. Or more to survival. That's why we to sell Lumba no or
22nd September. And a year no.
And I said next week and I said this weekend.
This weekend.
Hey, this weekend.
Yeah.
And the Angie Brenner don't be part of for the details in a it's been Gibran and Kawasam. You know, as a Lumba say me respecting the more because yeah, politics you know, and your fair. So as in to the work for a man yourself, actors, actress, but fortunately, this is when I bold. As I say, Binumo very, very bold and
take his stance.
Yes, Binumo near Ayampia, almost 30 reasons why they leave.
So and so.
Because me can't start time no. Okreku maintain a Fredima. Uncle Fredima Studios ne Ricky Anoche ne Socrates mu they took a position.
Yeah.
And a guy Debiano or can't say
Mr. Beautiful
Mr. Beautiful Olamo.
Yeah.
And then San Conform so take position. And the guy cross on it honorable
Mr. Beautiful Abeku Santana
Olamo a picky position. Omo catch it has not been easy with them.
Sure.
Both sides. Who share both a year NDC and MP. Wow, take his stance, Biano. We are a famous figure.
Yeah.
It has not been easy, but Onyamin Chad almost one comport on both sides, you know, Mr. Beautiful,
and
Ola, Rexoma, and all those guys, you know, they have a political story to tell. So I say, and I feel that as I say, it's a certain space and freedom around some of these people. Almost say it's Mr. Beautiful, and Kwame Joko to Fira. Omujidi say. He said, NDC Amanyu Koniba Abemo.
And they should be allowed
what is your
to
problem?
have that opinion.
And until Obi. And until you say, Obini Joko to Nkasao. Obini Mr. Beautiful Nkasao because Wakoso Wako NDC.
Ejako.
Yes, likewise. Ejako ne Freddie Mamone Socrates. Obini Wankasa. It's a shame. Aman your sema ye no. So obi who say me awia akra no me free can feel na me kodi na mba na me better programs obi who the anti say can me free na say me am Ibrahim am on me free. They don't understand. And any problem no. We disagree on matters of a national issue not because we hate ourselves. It's because we are looking for the best route to get to our destination.
That's true. And people should be allowed to own their thoughts, to own their opinions. As long as they are able to defend that opinion, they should be allowed to own their opinions.
As somebody can say opinions are opinions.
Yeah, of course.
Fact,
fact.
Your MDC, your MPP, opinion, a fact in your fact. It won't after fact in there. Nobody cares. But no question say, Ebia, you should say that. say school placement you know say o fill schools no mako enum o fill wi a machine na be pria ayi ba ko ama na na mienu ana miensa say sa miensa no free mu a wan ka sa nya ko sa na eda ho dada eno na da na fact no o de aka we nyina kire no o se enye nokure na wo wadwene na wo kire no eni mom na e nokure eso Ghana sise mu no this is the pro issue it is a science say when you feel say a sin to wo as I see a tree who feels a sin to no then we can have a conversation. But the fact that we differ in opinion with me now fact I stated no why what's your problem it is debia that will be me the message me won call NDC and I call MP but me tia say that say no credit because you feel that me want NDC asem we no no creba me nkasa do NDC because me want MPP asem we no creba no we can't do that honestly some of us there din say on the journey of making sure Ghana fan into my pay no will compromise on very important matters of national interest it's not possible we can have all the disagreements and have all the fun as friends as colleagues and momentia say so who say Samia uku ni yonko ni sami jemfia enye musuo
enya de bone nso
enye musuo but ya mana yet say
sworn enemies
any kwan say ye hukura dam ko say sami jemfi ene sami ukukura no omo din komo 1 minute
when they all went to the same schools the same church. Why should you be in one church? Now political party differences there or somewhere.
Why?
It doesn't even make sense.
That's what they are doing now. And Egusu dipin. Tima sreminuanum e bibia da meka memit na ha. The fact no me ye dia a fact. The me madwen kire no me ye dia e madwen kire. Oni me nya adwene a enye hwe. But no kure ba ko na da ho no de nyina no ye gitum se sa no kure we ni. Kwa obi en fa so different no kure ni de. E ho na e bia ye be difa. Ti mesre Ghana fo nyina because say obi ani wa say me nyi otwenko yi adoa. Ye de amanyo sem na ye bibia adwane a ye di ye kokwa aye ton ensu aye nom broda ye di baby school aye ko bibia ye bia no aye amanyo sem
partisan politics
enti se post ye adwuma soja adwuma immigration adwuma ni nyina ye de ye amanyo sem a sebe ye won hihye da ho a me kura me se ye betwitwa sa ne mabi wa se twitwam entry into the security services no it should not be because oh no, yeah, member of parliament is the amount one slot. We amount 2 slots. No. Yeah, but yeah, slot. In the middle, I mean, you must slot to crowd. If you always and loyalty now will not be to the state, but will be to a particular government or MP. Let's put people there based on competence and a special security agencies. We were an MP when I wrote 2 slots, and I went away 18 slots. A particular groupings of people,
and I think for these things, there are international best practices. So, other countries that we aspire to be like, how do they do these recruitment? Obibeka say, yes, you cannot swallow everything hook, line, and sinker, but international best practices are best practices. And for agencies like the security agencies, because of the critical role they play, we cannot also sacrifice adding on the altar of political expediency. It's not proper. Say MPB I am be 2 slots, I am be 3 slots. In the menu say minimum MPB and MPB and you closer. I cannot join any of the security agencies. And we are as a smoke screen, yes, you recruitment.
Yes,
meanwhile, I wouldn't very well say recruitment now, Mama go for Google Parks, just a cover up. Behind the scenes, Obia the Nipa Bami, ya fix your money into the system. I think we should build a meritocratic society. Society based on meritocracy.
Yes, I had dangerous. Ono MP na ya dom na ma na kwanya ba ko no state achievements.
No, the account. Say me the Nipa 200 ko police. Can you believe it? Me the Nipa 300 ko soldier. E can MP achievement. a kind of achievement, and we all look on. I say, I normalize it. It's normal.
Yanka said, "Sebi." But no matter one man. As I say, yeah, him test because
behind the scenes.
I'm telling you,
behind the scenes.
Just walk up patroa as member of parliament. Yeah, sure. Who the owner said, "Don't you for the Beijing Jambia, Madam Ghana, a year security into the year consider." And yet, come and boast that you can pick 500 people or 300 people into the agency.
Armed forces.
It's serious.
It's bad. Very serious.
Yeah, my and also when we get certain privilege opportunities, me paucho. Yeah, my anonda because nuntina kwabna santi ebeba be gina okon so say me pay immigration because me frasin fosu and I'm really say na me for no etibo hu no immigration is asin fosu ntino asin fosu for nko a
and
akogu immigration
Ekosiisen
I want a training school.
Yes
94.7
yes sir
and yet
because me who dem so yina say ya careful ebedu brebi no o my Ghana na yina pese de opepa som no enna na no me ko catch say mampan na no ko pa mampan dada na no ko pa ya o ka say NDC for lawyer for no because what space ni say who say nipa anya kwanya e bia sebi o mo furu abanwa no e ko we dey mo we kakra eti ene pe we say means be
which is really not the cure to the problem.
Anya cure no you might and look you might disagree with him but you have to put a superior argument to my former man. Okay, man, but
this is not a cure.
Because on respect mama on Chilemu, the NTBA, or Casano. Because on those Macadabia, Ghana Bar Association for Tomoni.
Yeah.
What I say, make a Ghana Bar Association for you. I bet I'm going to come up with Sadian. But I'm not saying to Miss Ghana for saying this is a beautiful country. Let us use all the powers that we have to make sure say Oman yebebo bra you protect your mind Ghana. That's why I made this and the daily graphic any man say no.
Yeah.
We won't support coup Ghana Armed Forces for the Akasa. Now Kenya Sema I can come with the Ghana.
Eba newspaper.
We have this as a headline. Enya sema baby e and come kwa your hospital no yakwan ateche tima faso and then so be ka okrum o papa no o ma no krum asem be ka papa no ma no krum asem o mu hia de o mu su say ambassadors of Observer Ekuru no nti enso en channel o mu grievance nti ese de tudwa but hwe nkoma ene Ghana Armed Forces o maji black
we won't support coup
na enyoma bi o hono ma na if you say e bia your interest binti no this
conversation should
not be part of us. People somewhere somehow prefer say Ghana, Ghana, but yes. Yes, as passé, your weakness we will get out of that weakness. But we cannot get out of that weakness through some of these conversations. And they're very threatening and very harmful because apart from say international eyes, action internally, we are going to equal now and easy mouse. Say when you're doing for Nigeria, come on, then I question because
and one thing I was saying, people think say you say these things, no, and they come out in isolation. No. Unim say adiyama ebi brim hand say ekoji loan from the international agencies now. Risk factor and my interest ne was no.
Because
some people don't yes.
And a stable country.
And yes stable. Ghana cry is safe because we've become an oasis of peace in a very, very terrible sub-region.
Yes.
But still, World Bank, IMF, interest was true. And the people should not joke with some of these things.
Yes.
And it's why as people would have to travel outside of Ghana. Don't go far. Or they just go to the other West African country. Some catch your Burkina. I'm in Wagadugu.
Yeah.
Wagadugu airport say Saint Takrady. Na Saint Takrady airport say international airport. It is a terrible place.
Runway to say that day.
Our situation is not that terrible. Of course, there is always more room, and yet more room for improvement. But this rhetoric, we should seize it. Let's let's look forward.
Obi basi a bottom top approach because this uncle we are fire and you know, they be at the mass exodus of that age bracket, you know.
Yeah.
They be at the Kaya who say aban wa sudi. Yeah, or mine move for so wa sudi.
Yes.
Because ya yiri ya hona ya intimi and fele gaps bia. Ya ni beba ya hunso as Ghana addition na enyoma bebre akechiri.
It's true.
Yes, say you nyanum Ghana for. Ampa ebra yumi obi anu obesechiri ne se aka chose e normal times ni womu. In the midst of the abnormal times, you know, a man who do also manage your system with the support of a crow and man. Yes, but yen timin kosu your mother dana and kana and the waka crana. Yen your mother dana. Now you did any say, you been in such a
turn around.
Oh, son, your mother dana, and you will be seen. And your mother dana no. Ya no ni ya but ye hwe nim se sa no madada na ya emfa kanko emfa mpuntu emfa nkoso emfa nijie bia ene akwanya papa bia mro man no sa no mana anya egusu a ye ene ma ni bi se de bia meka de bia da no adwuma aba adwuma reporting time 8 and that's 8:30 we do honum 10:30 12:45 also ba e wo crèche it too far bag na no Oko fa oba no abam 4 hours na aka obapon 5 no waja atwo say Ghana na hwede obey no wo na odi front lines wa akatu anya den enye enukure akatu anya papa because obi ayadwuma for 35 years or kofi this guy grant 30,000 Ghana cedi. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Sika na homu GMO ko di nyina akopem se nyambe frɛ no after 60 no 30,000 Ghana cedi or less than that. Onyame wa duma na ultra 50,000 no.
Yeah.
Majority of us your line as 25 20 30 and you go fi akodi. It is even right from the word go no. If you are not really patriotic, serving Ghana and Ankasa no ebedi. But we need to start from some place. Who tell that it was Mills as man worker 58 years after no worker asem. Yeah. Ghana me be fie aduonum wotwe 58 na no boss ankomo no ene what has changed yesu ye ne ye ban ya namontuo ye kasa yesusu ye hihye nyina no enya de a edwene Ghana ho wo hwe Ghana atwede na eye party no namfo ne empranom ne yirenum enuanom ne abusua
Ghana
nkasa de ye tia no so amakosoko or tie so but nobody is hearing what Ghana is saying. It's your mind, you can't see a Shishamaya. You're a whole Shishamaya.
Ekosiisen
M'Ahiasem, the chicken, the Shishamay
4.7.
Yadi Kroma, it's a little bit of Oka. Say Yankasa, Buapayum, Yan who deliberately and consciously, Yan Wankasa, in the field of IT, Ghana shut out for Kuku Dambe 10. In the field of construction, Ghana for Kuku Dambe 10. In the field of mining, Ghana for we sector bia Ghana for and your partisan colors. People who are capable of changing the fortunes of the country. They are sure Munsa. Moon if you be a dunu echino, Ghana be Genisika every more. We make sure say munim dia mono. We be bien companies akese no more impact sa nim dia no because Ghana so asisika afem. Tax sem Ghana so asi o sa nim na. Said be ya you bet me jinama nyuma ne nipa bebre so atmanyanya sad dia men emi ani so ade huna ye premier but yes but they be ada obi say 4 years old, say 8 years old, say 12 years old, say 16 years old. What I mean to say is that when there is a change of government, all so-called politically exposed persons, businessmen, whatever, they shrink. And this will be a fraud. Serious business tycoons be brave for you. They have to use so-called MPP middlemen to front for them. And why? Wow, my woman, what's a man friendly? Oh, now we are this year. No, no, be able to say aqua. You will never believe it. Say, not foreign a crime and front to my Ghana because all politically exposed with the NDC, you know, but not foreigner and a front to. I'm a Ghana. I've been here. You
business for Ghana, huh?
Is it not sad?
Yeah.
Is it not sad? It is san komo we no moment me ye sa mistakes na ye ni entity e hu free nyoma nkitinkiti bi ho emmoye nyina.
And I think one other thing, and it's something I think we've been doing over the years, EMFA results, Papa Bia Emre, and it's high time the political class woke up to that reality. The reality said, Oman, the political class cannot continue sharing the blame of challenges I want with the people. I agree 100% with Newman Awakano, and I've made this point where I say no country has developed without the participation, active and when you're passive, active participation of the people. So man for Nankasa and yes, we also have a role to play in pushing our country to the next level. Leadership cannot do everything on their own. But leadership also should understand, say, there is a reason why a more must create comfort into your man and say the traffic mo. Now say Minister of Education and as a Minister of Energy and as a Minister of Works and House and Air Bar. Motorcade edin ani obe blow side ye nyina wase park your car no head or babesen. There is a reason why we do that. It your mouse are comfort ni nyina. What we expect at the minimum and they say think and come up with solutions. And you cannot then, after all that comfort, come and tell us, say, oh, and yes, a man for more whom they buy a gata name more choke, no, and your man for 2 would go. Yes, we understand that's the problem. A man for Nankasa should be talked to. Have moral switch here, but not radio, so we'll do that bit. Talk to them, make sure we change mindsets. But to get out of that problem, no, a man. Leadership will role. There should be more thinking. And not there be a boss tape na ya can honorable Kumbo. We need serious think tanks. People who can sit and think. And that's why we are paying some people, giving them all the comfort. In this whole thing, say, oh, and a baby, a man for a year, or my family, and a man for a sweating, and a man for a way, and a man for a way. Yes, granted, a man for a year. But that is why there is leadership. Yama leadership, no good salaries, Yama leadership, no some level of comfort. And a big argue say we somehow immune our leaders from the challenges we face. Realities, no? Yes. Because one man a very good car. Or top pothole into no car pothole into that immunity and leadership from the problems another issue also discuss. But apart from that, no man, leadership would have to rise up to the way say they cannot continue to share the blame with the people. The country should be on autopilot. And once there are people there, some level of comfort, some level of remuneration to get them to work, they should sit down, think, and come up with solutions. Now, a man for say, okay, this solution looks very workable. Yes, you really play with any. Then, so I will start to implement that's what man for frustrates our solution now. Then we can come and sit here and say,
this one there.
Yeah, who say challenge your
this one there.
You said the only way out, pause here, the paperless port bed, a buy and a buying implement, as soon as you are not maintain reactors and media money in your then we call those people out. But see, into some money at Transacas when a man for no, and a man for no, a man for no, then it's a problem. I think that's one thing. I was see a drummy home. Members of the political class
yeah, but we made that say, and again there's even more dangerous the kind of trend that I ever see in this they be at the etnaka we resort to unprintable words on traditional media and social media to think that is the only means that we can let this country move forward. That's deceptive.
It has never worked anywhere and it will never work.
We think that by creating chaos and anarchy, things fall apart. Send an intimate the country will work. Who said that? Who said that? We think that when we look at America and Canada, it took them less than 6 years and they build such a. No, we can look at our pace of development. We disagree to the pace. Such a pace we did. So you're sorry, waka. Obian free the comfort zone. Na yentimi MPM konkansa Ghana na yenye di milike dwane ko America, Germany, London, Canada, and the kaka ye kwa ko Kenya koraka say e far better than Ghana. Ye kwa ko Kenya nyina. So we have a problem. Your mindset ne kura no I dey ton Ghana no kura no enye papa. Your mindset ne dey ton Ghana na nkasa enye papa. What we do is to 247 criticize and lament. No prescription of superior arguments or solutions to the country's problem. All what we have done as journalists, as business people, as politicians, as academia, all what we have done. Make academia, Dano. Last week, Thursday or Friday, I say, why are our technocrats not talking? What is the reason? We have cocoa conversation.
Yeah.
As on mine.
Yeah.
All these political parties, they've been part of the process before. And then, Mianka Sami this year, I may present a small beton. Now, NDC vice president. Or no, near at to force and near Sami Jefi. Or Munchimu about cocoa processes in a different. And then, the chief executive of Cocoa Board, or also any team. Almost until about cocoa pricing, nay, forward sales, this animal, a different. But no crap, say, Ujibre, now quite Bacosim. Now, she said the gun, I said, did just said the cocoa one. Who said, I don't need to higher at any point in time about matters of national interest. Why? I didn't just say higher.
And I think it's something we all have to be worried about, Oman. As a country, and this whole thing about democracy, and that's why I sometimes war a difficulty with how I democracy say a kabima min kebi. And the people think say it affords us the opportunity to just about say anything. You say a democracy, and so it can be. No. So who can be idea who cannot they be say you should be able to stand up and say this is my position and my reasons for taking this position any. And yes, I may kebi into me. No. Because the point is, we cannot build a country where we debate everything. How do we have to debate everything? To the extent, how we've sold our cocoa over the years, a bare subject of debate. How are you told Ghana cocoa? We are debating how we've sold Ghana's cocoa in 2023. When this whole model I implemented with Cocoa Board, in the early 90s. In the early 90s, they decided, you better cut the route of using syndicated loans to purchase our cocoa. And because of that strategic decision, so what we call syndicated loans, you have to go through a particular process, an approach. We've practiced this thing since the 90s. 2023, we are debating how we sell our cocoa.
In your progress,
How should we just about debate everything in the name of democracy? No. I believe that there are certain issues, there should be a convergence of opinions around some issues. No, say your national security. Say what's the economy? There should be absolutely no debate about that. Yeah, ton your cocoa, Ghana. This is how we sell our cocoa. And they be America. Say our job a professional verification as journalists. Yeah, Jumane say, but they be anu ujai the various stakeholders now. Where when the truth, and there is the actual truth. The actual truth, fortunately for you now, Oman. Our institutions are manned by technocrats. Political figures will come and go. In the Cocoa Board, for example, there are technocrats at Cocoa Board. They've been there for the past 20 years. For the past 25 years. But within that period, the Cocoa Board and CEOs bear 10, and I say 5, and I 6. They will come and go. The technocrats are there. How the system operates, it doesn't change. The actors might change, but how system operates in for example, Cocoa Board, or more room, you're friendly trading room. And then now, after the debate, some miracles debate, and the fire NDC conference, that year so about CEO, and I called Dominic and told him that Dominic, if we continue this route where, because politicians know obviously, Obia when they all know the truth, because it is verifiable, data of how we sold our cocoa, and I told him that Charlie, we should probably get an independent voice, independent in quote. Technical oriented, what the reality is. And verifications kakran, and I say said kakano be a prompty and say Cocoa Board trading room. That is where the trading is done. I told Dominic now, contacted 1 or 2 people, and then we went there. In fact, trading room, out of bounds to even members of staff. We are staff for Cocoa because you don't enter the trading room. A few people be penny, or some of them have been there 20 years. In fact, all they do is trading. They are experts in trading cocoa. And I say, New York Stock Exchange new TV so or how screens now prices na kobasa pa that's the same thing they do. In the who say price near favorable then you negotiate online na mutual be on him trading be an in that's what they do there. When we got there on Monday, they told us no, you ain't me in room, and we had to use the conference room. And the guys came to sit down. I think 3 of them, solid guys, solid guys. Some of them 15 years, maybe 20 years, they've been working cocoa board. And trading room. And we are told
so it cuts across regimes.
Yeah, it cuts across regimes. And the first question I'm posing and say, for mono Ghana cocoa no. But I know some more trading room. You handle the trading of your cocoa. A climbing I'm so no. And I'm catch and say, oh man, they use forward sales. And I'm at forward sales, no. Why? Forward sales essentially just say ton cocoa. Only have 2 forms: forward sales and a spot sales. Spot then they say adiana bing now will turn our prevailing price at one hour. But when you use forward sales, and they start selling a year before. You understand? And maybe that's one more reason. They say I can say 2 reasons. Number 1, essentially to aid in planning. Planning because say, oh man, again, as early as the 90s, no, any you call into a regime, you say, you be kwa syndicated loans. Well, now you the aba betokoko. So we kwa syndicated loans. Now man say, who approach bank? They be a Dominic na bank. Well, so me call Dominic kwa loan. Say me the aba betokoko. I should go and tell Dominic. Say Dominic, many of mine hine kwabna sante or contract paper nini. O mine hine asha me boss say cocoa amete no. Or better ebia 12,000 tons.
That is the process.
Paper ni enye. Inti many of mine hine sign agreement no. Now me the sign agreement na yede I'm a Dominic. Dominic will then advance Sikano to me. Say me take cocoa ni wie. Now me the bread on mine hine. Sika was on mine hine etuama me for cocoa no. Na wo tuama bank no.
I don't know.
Sir.
Yes,
that's the arrangement. In the secure was a for cocoa na the amount. You pay that money to the bank. Now the artist syndicated loan with the interest our bank near the emami. That has been our process. In before syndicated loan, you need contract in hand. Into almost to aid planning. So we will all the contracts together. No much media syndicated loan cocoa because you need the loans before you open the season. So best start here to cocoa. Ain't by in the emphasis say this season the year can was season you be here. Say ubenya syndicated loan there was started the whole juma a contract one the big buyers never start here in negotiation from last year October. No was starting negotiate now sign contract neto obe sign contract na until say July more then you finalize everything what me akwa syndicated loan or ede aba. But mind you, say because you start, and this according to them, because you start the negotiations early, maybe I'll be starting with the prevailing market price at the time. Now, into and it will transcend into the following year. And you strike the average. The average cocoa prices, it fluctuates. And you strike the average.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Average, and I'll be started the idea, and they are entering into the contract. What happens? They say, everyone said in October, me no go into agreement. My ton cocoa amount say be out over me $2,200 per ton. ABI sign October by February the following year. Price no assessment, which is possible. A better member say time me di cocoa nankasa ebre umpono. Na ABI me no sign 2,200, but price na ko be 3,000. And no change be 3,000, mommy. But I mean, no sign saying 2,200. But over a period, and the price is not fluctuating. You understand? But bottom line is say you start ahead of time to get those contracts for your kind of saying syndicated loan. No? And that has been your system I are practicing over the years. And that's what surprises me. Say, and then it has become a debate.
It's very sad.
And I think both sides should also appreciate, say, Obi and Timin take and trend position. It cannot also be true. Say forward sales in Kwan, because sometimes, man, because I will turn over the period, a bit member say at a time, a better time I will be a market, now be a what on say 70% through forward sales, 30% I can bet my on the spot sales, but we are always striking average, and on just a time I will be a season, price are prevailing, and how they fix the price.
The conversation should be around challenges along the line and along the process. The conversation should not come across as if say, I say, no. Go beyond a certain process.
And that is why I think sometimes, we, the media, would have to do our work of verification well. It doesn't matter whose ox is God, because it will either not favor A or B. But our job is not to look to favor A or B. What are the facts? How do you get the fact? In our country, there is an institution in charge of the sale of our cocoa. That institution is the Ghana Cocoa Board. A trading room. We have to go there and tell them, say, hey, listen, the political players now having a debate. But money technocrat or money triamoka to do a particular job.
What is the issue?
You have been here 15 years, 20 years. How do we sell our cocoa? Tell us. Because they also made this point, say, the reason why your money spot sales and Kwan and they say, so why you say we have spot sales and Kwan, pink and crying. By the time maybe our baby tono, you ever say Ghana that year, OMV says you 900,000 tons. Oh, toning now at a go. What it means, they say there will be more supply against demand. It will price better than your price will drop. It is not prudent to sell everything on the spot. And that's why they start. In the two reasons of mine, and one for the syndicated loan, two, and they say, if you decide to do everything on the spot, you lose price. And there is competition. Mind you, say young cocoa na world market the year ton. In the way I would air train at a go within 1 month, within 2 months, your price will fall. If they have a plan or more a ton, of course you can have a debate as to say, yenye on the spot and as yenye forward. But as long as we implement the policy, say ye syndicated, I ask them, say, if we decide say yenye syndicated loan deal, you understand? Yenye syndicated loan. And they said, say, syndicated loan reason by because previously, now cocoa season baby, what they do is Bank of Ghana. Then Bank of Ghana will print money. You understand? For Cocoa Board to go and buy cocoa. But no the inflation boom, because you amount all that cash a crowd. And they decided say no. And yes, sustainable route. In your mom pay another route, and the your friend is saying syndicated loan option in the year, and they've been implementing that over the year. And this is how they sell Ghana's cocoa. In the why we are debating it in 2023, it baffles my mind. It honestly baffles my mind.
There's some money I read say, sa ekueku ni sa union ni technocrats ekwa. Omo adiomo ho agi active partisan politics. Say cocoa no omo say ya tebia cocoa ya tebia weku ya tebia
association
omo botai ni say ade ya haku no e ho nkomo na say so omo di no omo ankasa ha be che amanyo semfo no. So even issues about trust and who is talking at a particular point, you know.
Hey,
of course, yeah, won't conform with Brandon independent or more legone, a year tech, you see, a Cape Coast or political watchers and independent commentators. Some have ended up with both political parties. If you collect some of the submissions along the line they were making, it was okay, then no wonder. It's even the revered institutions now, so when they are bad, actively involved, they leave the conversation for the politician.
And that is something we have to stop.
They leave the conversation for the politician.
Somebody sent a message, say, Obi, do you think the guys in the trading room will go contrary to what the CEO has said? The point, then we should shut down this country.
But I said no crowd. Oh, see, that's
then we should shut down this country.
And I make us how? Yeah, and then the photo. You can't blame him. But your response is appropriate. But person say we reduce ourselves to clear. If it was revered people, no much for 20, 15, whatever years, no. On because
the CEO now came to meet them. Yes. They've been there in the system. Yes. And the point is that Makasa, these things are verifiable. How are Ghana turn your cocoa? Why should it be a subject of debate? How we sell our cocoa?
Who be trusting you? Politics is not penetrating system, no. Also, big question on Jabano.
It's terrible.
The expectation is that, okay, so then the lapses along the line, how do we correct or rectify those lapses? But again, the problem. One or more trading room, description, and more monocracy is a no-go area, even for workers at Cocoa. Obusu problem, you say, Nazango for you say, Chief Executive, obey me a controller. What it suggests is that all agencies and departments and ministries should close down. Ghana should close down.
I mean, how?
That's what you're saying.
How?
In effect, that's what you're saying. And I was say, Nipa binimu besha si adwene sa adwene we ama oman ye nyina yetima ye hihye se oman be yi enti wo dia okay we anyu di se o dia na wo kan dokra
technocrats
yes I mean o dia na wo kan that's why the uze kwabra Japan betra gaze they shit across the Ghana Institute of Engineers say yeah there your oman there most of them they are not consulted they are not consulted. If you want him, dear Nankasa one, almost first on Macasa, because one Kokasa say, a book of Benku and every Chinifa, it's Mikra Brahma Bro Ghana, you may first side the other crowd, my buying the farm water. Post me, madam, come on, the chairman under a message boutique, I say. That correction be a coyer or a year post you, ye Pejan and Obi, baby at Nicoyan, a dime by 7 and a whole. Dime by 7 and a whole. Virtually, when they're not doing any policing. Iti omaya okanu kura ye pe baby ni akata oso na tro dia ye pente mabo hye ni apega osi akonko sa man no ya build da bisine na ye twasewo enti obi ba be ka kire se ye chia ye nya careful de bia meka whenever there is power switch if we destroy a system now your first 100 days month na ba ma obaga say aban na wo so de opa ko stadium ni na o mukasa
Aboni your match.
Send your money now. Be a Jawa say be send for you no much chire. Me say, Udia ma aban sisa. Nama NDC mra power. Ubu is say John Dramani mama. Everything I destroyed. We are rebuilding
from scratch.
64, 5, 8 years. We are going to rebuild from scratch. Ma MPP time on no pen. And yes, say net the na wo kwa no mukaka cheno. Bibia omuye ndisi fo bibia jiegu jomama bai wa redom penny wa renam na mo no akadompe wa nya kire de papa bia so enkosi da ben anya be koso daada ye ho abesi ne ana mu zo bi ye daada ya kase ho sebi ba fa no se bi oye oni sebi why na oye no if you had that die, you dada ye ho free 1992. The BM 1992 the be din komo. Am be si ne. All budgets are capture Accra Kumasi Road. All budgets are capture Accra Kumasi Road. The quantum of work on Accra Kumasi Road no is appreciable. Acquire a dear Pierre Krobiso. Na Krobiso so di uragan. Sa kwa no enkwansian kwa basa.
And anytime you travel on the Accra Kumasi,
it's sad.
It's depressing.
That is the word.
It is extremely depressing. And you're like, auntie, what is this?
Yes.
The relevance of this whole state called Ghana. Sir, the road linking two of our largest cities, a single lane. Single lane riddled with potholes all over. Single lane 2023 Accra Kumasi. Oh, it is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Where please, all of us, we've disappointed ourselves. We failed ourselves because we have never looked into the good side. So there be say when the Abasa 20 besoswa or say I achievement to be mad. It is a Kumasi Accra road. Adaho enye completed dual up to this point. Now never train same year train will be
94.
We should see progress. We should see development. The welfare of the citizens is a priority. If someone can, Yama Dibiasa Betina, Yama Wahar or no Mabel, say Biasa, oh, Yama Waharewa.
Ubetma
Jene, I Jumani ye, and into our carcass send the carcass to him. And in our garden boy, chef, Yama, a security, and into our call back out of business class, or come Yamia, do Ghana, and yes, you won't be down. It is hard to be now. So my money, Parwati, as I say, hey, say, a man yourself for the way, dear. Miss Ressa, because you man no watch. Sure. And some reason no number mapo, no watch, dear, a sesame piano, as a semi ye. If we don't start thinking like this, and our assumption is that MPP will power on Betty Master Ghana for Shebre, and this will power on Betty Master Ghana for Shebra, and you know, correct. You can't say what they be any payment to say. Say, I can say, and no, my go aquam as of mine. I'm a petrol who couldn't the bonny Cassani Sika Ejano. It's my Sanimano, Yanya Adri as of my say, baby. Your baby, I say, because John Mountain could do Jania Badi Fangonaba. It's a bambia, the catchers of stability, full price now, and you know, correct. Only determinant. Yeah. Only determinant. If you are control by the TSS, you may go out of the power of these two major political parties. One, Petro. Obiano, but major platform, Jacastre, BMC, or best stabilize the pricing. And then the subsidy or the about 2 no, which is a cars, I'm a try and yes. But Obimatima catches say practical efforts are a bit more stabilizing the pricing of your food. When I'm there to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe just 2.5 years. At least me cool ya. Make me kuni in LCM my baby. This is the conversation Ghana should be having. It's not to wake up every morning and yepemula. Mamin chamula for the cry. Namin chamu guy to the same cry.
Good fellow.
Not to say Zebula, but Namin try. Yeah, good fellow.
Good fellow.
Another job open so for Melbourne Mania Quenya Game Park.
Game Park.
Yeah, they should give national lotteries a good run for their money. Among kono pampi. So what I say? Among kono pampi. And a boy. It's a name. It's a meme to be a yepemula. So what you say? What you say? Oh, because say Yakonyaba. Oh, sure. It can be Game Park.
A lot of.
And then Mabungana Mabunya form.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
And the baby I deny health. They say, "Emma, you're a bad man catcher or no." Or say FM stations are your baby no. Obiya maso or no Bahama no. Not pressure crowd. I say you need to lift up the game. So you're very competitive. Of course. It's because of more info pressure. The national should pay your mom.
Oh yeah. Competition,
yes, healthy one.
Just I was saying a fair,
yes,
healthy competition. Yes. Yeah.
It's a kind of so no. They should really give them that needed competition because I feel now for more customers now be priority both sides. No, oh, who trust you? Obi be increase in the nyoma. Who trust you? Be say. Who trust you? Be say. It's also Obi also person the papa no. Obi be share the nyoma yi. It is so. Misewa utie. Uye jedinia. You have a role to play. Uye Centronia. You have a super role to play. Super advisedly used. Uye man uye manyo kuetia en kata wani nkase the NDC be biano enye kura house ye the MPP be biano enye kura house ye ebasa that dream na na sa abotire na epese Ghana ye ko nya no ye da o timi se Ghana this year, especially when we are entering into the political zone. Ensema kese nkoa obi ensema kese ensema kese betrayal of conversations and friends. Ensema kese yenkoa ni ura manyo so brenye kotoaba. People are seeking for people's death, their downfall, disgrace, shame, trappings, setting a for them. Now, and minimum how we want to orchestrate ourselves and later come back and say we are one Ghana. People are hurting people because of the politics we are doing. People are blackmailing, character assassinating. People are lying. A bit of sycophants and bootlickers. Akushisem kwa ohuye no kuchatu biso. So I am very dangerous for the development of society, for the building of society.
Oman Matisse, National Communications Officer of the NDC, Sami Jemfi, say also make a quick input into Nkomoa yield intima yem fan and yen trust. I know that there are some other issues you better touch on and Sunday. Sorry, lawyer Sami Jemfi Kasama NDC Sami Akwaba na pom to saying.
That's a
fantastic. But Matisse or some quick input be in making to yes.
The big kind of the Boabaso, Kuku, a ball for 2023-2024 cocoa season. And once I'm by na a chinya kakaba home between NDC Amanyukru, Yene, Yafanka 24, you are John Dramani Mahama, and NPP, a buying cocoa board for Nediaka Hono. Moankasa, Majid Bressa, very grass anymore. Na mode Mosomono Kra, Moguno, Ebetuga. Sana or Mino, I was here Chichreno. Kwaku Canada na kwabana Canada mo central for na mudin finfin na won hia se modern semini munchichi move from mo perspective beba na boa magana fo nyina hu no kwe obi de ye me de ba ko edikan ansana me ko ba bia me fi se unchiri mu na wasi efe ni yie na an create a wrong impression be in the minds of omoa ebi ankomo ya edi omonti asiye no manini kan emo abaso se de dikai wachiri ni se Ghana ye kuku ye turn in 2 ways: forward sales and spot sales. Let me tell you, and me tell you say obi kase ye spot sales and ye no kre me the pass wakasa because I said we better no. You know, MP4 have been emphatic. Say Ghana, your sport sales. Into win to me for international sport price. Asem Ghana kuku boom. And you say we should work. Say ampa Ghana your sport sales. You are also know your forward sales who are some wakan. Now I wonder what say. Me pese me de enchirimu kakra na se bibi kakra ka de okan no yam pase ansa na ye be bie kuku season bia no enya afi wi mu a obi so nim se kuku season no ye bie no 1st October
sure
na ya kulusu ni 31st September me also we mu no ma wu sa ana megwa
sure
good then ti see a come forward sales obi brofo and say forward sales in say ye tono a say and sana ye bie kuku season. The chene say ye ton and sana ye bie kuku season. Iti kuku no ye nyao koton fi kuku ekuyafo because ye ni sika ye kwa koto. But ye ton ahead and will be as in krata say ye ton 20,000 and 50,000 tons at the amount. Na won krata ni ye bie season no near Tokuku, the Fuku for what? You have the Kuku quantity, no, at the bell, and then your friend of forward sales. Now, forward sales, no, it is not necessarily done 1 year before the cocoa season is open. Any sales of cocoa ahead of the opening of the cocoa season is forward sales because you don't have the cocoa at hand. The water cocoa no ujin the sikana the man of the friend sport sales. And the woman I contract some amount ahead of time. Na in fact time media heading media bro. And for 2023-2024 cocoa season you will mean. So people today decided that our forward sales no. Or that started no October 2022. Or people today decided on starting October 2022. Or starting in December 2022. Or we decided say, or by the forward sales, no, before so there be a season in 2023 in October, no, or by the forward sales, no, in January or February or March or April or June. Because until the season is open, you don't have the cocoa, and therefore any sales you do ahead of the opening of the season, no, and your forward sales. See, the first point I want to make, not necessarily a correction, is that inadvertently we can say oh, forward sales, the year before. It is not always the case. It is not always the case. That's why even a band where I was saying why forward sales, they tell you that this year January, February, March, no more forward sales. In fact, they say they started their forward sales from October last year and ended March this year. They could have, and no yet, or more choice, or more marketing strategic decision based on the market trends. No more decided when they want to do their forward sales. But let's not put that straight jacket meaning on forward sales. It means doing something the year before. And number one. Number two, Obi. Forward sales is also in Chile. Yeah, forward sales in tea. Cocoa bought at the time one. Yeah, forward sales, no. And only a day turn your cocoa for the ensuing cocoa season. And now for cocoa season, Obi Yanshan so. This is a very important point. Because here, you know, MPP for your more cafe. The point is that, Ghana cocoa, you are torn forward sales. A forward sales system near the tongue. And the international market price, I buy a can once a media, and forward sales, in the Kakabia. Apart from the fact that that is not wholly true, because we do both forward sales and spot sales, like you rightly said. The point is, when you are doing forward sales, you are not selling at the current price. You are not selling at the prevailing price. You are selling forward. What does it mean to sell forward? The meaning is, I have a hedging. Who share cocoa, no, commodity, no, send an AC trading on the international market. Now, what share the market forces of demand and supply? Any other factors that go into the international pricing of cocoa? Now, what you are predicting, say, hey, as at this time, me sure that you are born next year, cocoa, now, at the end of the year, a born to me about. And he said, this time around, a born and I'm $2,500. My minion is, if I hear next year, a born the buffer. There are people who are trained, are almost study market, and almost here, almost forecasting. So you are selling forward. It can even be say, forward sales, the price you are getting may be lower than the price for a particular year. Of the year you are even doing the forward sales. What is what because it is a projection. And you can project, say the international market price of oil. They do the idea. It's in the cost because of certain factors. India, Russia, and Ukraine, and you'll be able to project, say, oil more because of that event or war between Russia and Ukraine. So as soon as you do to product for. So the point I'm making here is that your forward sales you are forecasting to sell the product at the future price. Everything you are here on the futures market. So when this government tells you, say, may have forward sales between October last year and March this year, and I made it turn 2023-2024 cocoa season, I think you be cocoa. Now me turn $2,600. Straight away, you know, said there is something wrong. There is something wrong because last year born was $2,600. But anybody who has an understanding of the trading market of cocoa, now what steady market, as of September last year, 1 month before, would have known that cocoa war about the cost of even after last year September. You know, can say that for the publication Yamawa International Cocoa Organization in September 2022. The woman say, or more number become projected 2023-2024 cocoa season, and our last cocoa season, 2022-2023, shortage, global shortage of cocoa, about 170,000 tons. But along the way, Ghana, your cocoa production, any Cote d'Ivoire cocoa production performance. Or increasing shortage projection from 170,000 to over 230,000 tons. What that means is that there was going to be a severe shortage, a serious, significant shortage of cocoa. And all you know, this is price. The major determinants of cocoa are demand and supply. So cocoa ne do which means supply above from, but demand was strong. And paying no cocoa ball coso. In the as of September, now International Cocoa Organization, I can't say we are saying cocoa ba be shoto kese enti cocoa bo ba be kosoro na ya buy the say o no nim way September last year but October we decided say obeton Ghana cocoa for at $2,600 and the justification is that may forward sales that cannot be the justification because in forward sales you are supposed to do the right forecasting on the futures market to predict what the price is likely to be so that you don't lose out. Until your more can as among here, they are rather exposing or more inefficiency and incompetence in or more forecasting or more on that market. Then finally, because we need more say important in the okay, I was a ubi. If you are drink course, you okay did say cocoa no ye tonwa ye even the forward sales now. A buyer by buyer. What you say? You bet me buyer this year in October. Negotiation on the buyer no. Maybe I would cocoa the man $2,700 per ton. Maybe I would for ever negotiated December. Maybe I will not there what the man $3,000 per ton. Maybe I will be there January, March. Based on negotiation and the prevailing factors of the market at the time, who did become now, who we are now the weighted average. It is the weighted average of the forward sales. It is the weighted average price for the forward sales. But and set us up more than what I would do cocoa creamy. Utie the cocoa board Nigana by Kenya. Almost forward sales October last year, you read March this year 2023. Now weighted average now you know not only between 2,200 and 2,400. Now your weighted average that you your daily living income differentials you see 2,600. Straight away no, it's all your trouble. Straight away, no, why do I say so? I say so because one casa cocoa board, and then be one casa one about the can say, cocoa no, you didn't know for forward sales. Put on before sales. By now, so we young couple, I wouldn't say a bono able to be a Huria Cosro. Now we're really moving 800,000 tons of cocoa. Yeah, next Sunday. 500,000, 600,000, 400,000, or 600,000 out on the forward sales. Into the car, over ton spot price. And the same po NPP are buying were so reckless and so incompetent. So at the time, the International Cocoa Organization in September last year says the cocoa because of the significant shortage of cocoa on the global market. Not still, when you say cocoa, more than cost, almost on your cocoa, no, true forward sales for $2,600. Wow. One case statement about issue, no, Obi, almost a man ton cocoa in our forward sales. A dear car, no better on the spot sales. It is spot sales, you know, yet this say, yet the spot price, say, NSSA, which is averagely $3,000. Now, so yes, our spot sales now. Fast one when you was so I was say a big cocoa you should be fixing the price, based on the average you got for your forward sales and the average you will get for your spot sales.
But Sammy, you also know, sir.
Forward sales.
You also know, Sammy.
Na cocoa kuyanino, tika was a code on anchor.
Sammy,
Yakana okwa spot sales. And on so case the basso. Because the Buona so boom like it has happened this year. And not the will cap Buona and can be some fast one.
Yeah, but I think Ocean from that angle, you might be making a mistake because at the end of the day, it was all percentages, if based on what we've done historically, say a syndicated loan 1.3 billion, 1.5 billion, by which time you sign off the syndicated loan, you should have sold or gotten contract for a cocoa commensurate with syndicated loan, you realize a majority of your cocoa for that year would go into paying the syndicated loan. And no one in our can't turn other in forward sales. And you realize excess a car over turn a sport, no, a infinitesimal, and you be a bit changey. It depends. Price, it depends.
It depends. So assuming that is correct, it will depend on the percentage.
Absolutely, that's the point I'm making.
Hold on. If you sell 70%, let's say this year projected 800,000 tons, 30,000 with that, but for simplicity, you use 800,000 tons for calculation. Now, I buy the same or your forward sales of 600,000 tons out of this 800,000 tons projection. They move 600,000. And on the end, the forward sales at even 2,600.
That is an example. 600,000 example.
Example, I mean.
Okay.
Because
it can be higher.
Almost forward sales. Almost to be confidential, but it is not confidential, and I'll come there. But the point is, young people say hypothetically because they said they sold most. If the most can be say 600,000. So what on 600,000 through forward sales at a price of $2,600. So we do 200,000 at 3,500 or 3,600. Can you imagine the price? Do the calculation. Even though you are selling a lesser volume, because the spot price is way higher than the price you got the forward sales for, you will see that the spot price will be giving you a lot of money. And therefore, in fixing the cocoa price, you see the cocoa price is not fixed at the time you do the forward sales. It is fixed when you are opening the season. And by the time you are opening the season, you know what spot price sales are going. So you have to factor in the spot sales are in the pricing. You cannot be doing the pricing only based on forward sales, which in this case you shortchange the cocoa farmer through your own negligence or incompetence or whatever. Now, spot sales say your farmer they need a swap. Cocoa board betting $3,600 and the cabwa yan fanka. Again, you can be said. Oh, by the time we syndicated loan, maybe what majority of and most of cocoa now we project it to have. Oh, is that an account?
Yes.
And this year we are syndicated loan.
Syndicated loan, we are told would come. You heard the cocoa board, right?
We have not done it.
But they are. No, hold on. If they've taken a decision, say it will come because Parliament would have to sit, and then the syndicated loan agreement will go to Parliament. If they are sending it,
it's not ready. They themselves don't have it.
Yeah, but the sale for that should have been done.
Banks, it through me say, as I speak to you, they are not even get the needed number of banks to give them credit or open.
Okay.
So they don't have a facility for Parliament. It's not like Parliament is not fitting. Parliament can always be recalled. They don't have the facility. So the point I am making, because Cocoa Board is bankrupt, we all know that. So the point I am making is that it cannot be the excuse to say, oh, you're torn your cocoa in terms so that we will get a syndicated loan. And right now, you get syndicated loan. Because syndicated loan, you Parliament.
I think your point is well made.
I am the same. Never say yes. I this Indian people. Someone tonche. Now, no quite what said no yanka. As you are very obedient, Nimo, how deep you are a man with that. What is it? Tell me how fair it is, how right it is. Abayaka said, my forward sales at a very uncompetitive price of $2,600, which was the market price for last year. When all from every indication the price was going to be far higher because of the significant shortage of cocoa in the global market. And yet, the spot sales now are buying the are buying saying, and not they have not factored that in the pricing of the cocoa.
Yeah, but Same, it comes back to the point I am making earlier, and I think your argument now reinforces the rationale behind we going out there to verify the argument. Now, are you saying, sir, the guys in the cocoa board trading room, who to all intent and purposes are expert at what they do, they understand this business, understand trading more than you could ever do? You think, said they will be there and shortchange the whole of Ghana, a job they've done for the past 20 years, the past 25 years?
Before those people you spoke to at the trading room, whoever they are, there were people there.
Yeah, but they are the guys who have been there for the past 25 years.
Whether it is even the CEO, because Coco, I have spoken to more than 10 people who have been involved, not just at the apex or at the highest level of cocoa board, but those involved in the pricing itself. What about that? So let's not bring in Obi Edumeniti, the all can hear, right?
Yeah, no, but the point is that the
International Cocoa Organization has told you that the shortage of cocoa will increase from a projected 170,000 to 230,000. A first-year economics students will know that with supply going down, whilst demand is going up as projected by the International Cocoa Organization, and as we ourselves knew, say any Cote d'Ivoire produce 60% of US in our cocoa. Now you cocoa about from shortage, yet demand aside. Every first-year student, you don't have to be an expert, who knows that the price will go up.
No,
so you can't come and throw $2,600 at us, and then when we say that will amount to short-changing farmers, you tell us that, but the people who told you that are experts.
But from where you sit,
the advice they gave the politicians they took. Then I am saying that these that is me. They got the $2,600. Are you also telling me that your experts told you that the remaining portion of the cocoa for this year, the plan was for sales, and not the cocoa board. Cocoa farmer.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Sami, let me thank you. Na yenshe emfa NC. Enti Sami Jemfini attending can he speaks for the NDC. The fact as we've put out, as I've said already, I mean, left for the politicians alone, the narrative will be as we've just heard. And that's why we took it upon ourselves to go by. It's sometimes fair, saying some of these conversations, if somebody has an input to make, it all shapes the conversation. But the fact still remains, in Ghana, there is a way we sell our cocoa. The people to get you that way, in Kofua, rolling up on sleeves, who are in the trenches doing the work, trading room, and that is what they are paid to do. It is sitting here as a journalist whose job is to verify. I'm sorry, but I would want to take their version of what they do for this country as what we've been doing. Of course, lawyer Sami Jemfi makes some very important argument, but it's a matter of opinions. Maybe in his opinion, if he say, because Obi say, cocoa ebe shorty into was advantage. Those are matters of opinion. The reality is what they do in that room, and they have shown us the process we go through. The debate can continue, but our job is to put out the fact and what they do. The fact that forward sale is what they do. Because of the syndicated loan, you need a contract to go to the banks for the loan. By the time OBBA market, most of the cocoa would have been sold. Excess kakre be canon out on the spot sales. As to whether you have to use that kakrana obeton spot sales to determine the price for the cocoa farmer, it's another argument we can get into. As I sit here, I will not have answers for that, but this is the process cocoa board for in the trading rooms when we go through, and that's what we've shared with the general public. In the debate will continue, but the fact will still remain the fact as we have put out. On my here kwabna sante wa ha, some few messages on my name sign emfa wo emremo bi oni share other issues, but before
maybe quick one. No, you measured. Says some your spokesperson, communications director for NDC,
communications officer for NDC.
You measured. Inti omom go room on ye question ade from incompetent. And I say what? The Omakaka Bonti, Ebina Wabachime. Almost add the lips kakratu, almost position or take you. But for this explanation this afternoon, Nanka they had an earlier position they are taken as a party.
At a point, what may say forward sales crowd.
Yeah, so they should not try all the time to think that they can outsmart the system. No. Yeah, one was our room honoso. Somebody Ghana M'Ahiasem. Because NDC they will be there.
Yeah.
We should look at the system how you operating. So you feel say bet may improve on the system. Because how the show we are going to go to chief executive. Onim ko say yenya akwanya scientist we. It is your how bia one of us room one no. Yen hwe say ye be gi omadi near point out say okay madam man passe na Ghana na amresanti na. Yo baby abedi pa de ye fa hasi ha fa hasi ha. Ebetimi aboa one aban pa na aba so mpezo be say kuku for interest. Kuku akratch for komo abotre. Aban bia right on their back to make noise and make money. Inclusive is submit and fees NDC.
Yeah.
When we are calling for equity, they be account. We should come with clean hands. If we don't start the debate by saying that I had and your papa. Yes, it's a free side, and baby, the word incompetent, and no papa, and a way see ya, and the technocrats will not talk. So, technocrat, the education will by where we are, and can attempt to complete, so or take a political stance. So, forever they will not talk. Message me. Omo personal. Quite almost far so we are almost saying. See, I can't see scrutinize here, but they have no answer for Ghanaians, but they have ways that they will improve the cocoa person's life. They should come with that. I say practical. Because blame game they are is yaga. You don't come back say muso no krano. You don't go check here. I don't say mo kra say mo the same thing. Now no be the same thing. Uti actually wo kasa. Let's shift from that. It's me na NDC ye ba. Ye nsusu ye mu. Ye jiri se saade ye no mbiri santi we nyina no. And as on mine. It's young Francis from work, but we cannot continue to be attacking ourselves when we leave the policy there.
Because my argument has even been, sir, and I think I asked that question to them, sir, why do we still continue on the path of going for syndicated?
Yes.
I didn't.
And
sir, every year we need to go
an easy way out. Or what?
But I think
why do we do that?
Yeah, there should be another way. But when him say syndicated loan into and what's our forward sales, no? It may be without a syndicated loan, we'll do spot sales. I don't know the prevailing market price. Na the aton, yesika. Na the beko cocoa for no cocoa for no. Can we have another way around?
Honestly speaking, I thought that
I think that's where the argument.
This conversation, I was saying, yes, weird because your mama and your friend is open one MP for so fair Dominic. They also want to make an input. Then we lose the input of what we are doing.
I get
NDC to the extent that to airtime for all the church or Muslim. And these MPP church or Muslim. We have moved beyond the normal line of their arguments and inputs to go to the people who determine those kind of prices and whatever for us. All my education.
Yes.
It would party or party for no church or Muslim. But Ghana should be told the truth that Are you thinking that opening time no determinant of the price ana?
Yes.
Opening or determinant of cocoa price ana? When chief executive will be a determinant of cocoa price in this country. And she said now, you ban if you toma, oko baby, and you juma. You want to come to power, you want to maintain your power. Let us be sure, say we are within the lines because and then Patrick Koto now NDC Uba. Asima Wakato hey. When it gets to that point and you are being measured with the same issue, and we must have bad explanation. Oh, there be no drama. So you share now when say the Opa Obi na call a room one no. So I prepare on the that one Oba solid in the room there, and they are competent. But today it's a different matter altogether. That's the ball we have been playing, and you're healthy for us.
FM 94.
And you're healthy. Say Sami Susu say, Omu ba. And she said that honomo. Ombesemu kina sunkubi. I'm a cocoa catching a feeling more than the awfully and they are emphasizing them and Metoga. And to me, no cross does it. A beton, a boa binyano, uchem, whom a ducia training nano, or something because the air tonino, she can't give me a cocoa phone qua, a catch a phone qua,
industry.
Yes, yeah, to me for in Ankaze, your Katani, your Disika, your free, get the idea, and come a cocoa for, and then Ebinom so gyina ha omo akrache for omo ye adwuma ma koko akuafo Ghana ekoba saas ni nyina no emfiafia ho bakoje sika amde kodi dwuma say sika na bia ye de administrative work ye de we ye de fa ye de sia enti mabum se bibia free koko mu ba bia ye de nyina say po ma koko akuafo but say so munya a reasonable percentage of it.
That's true.
That's what munya. Enti ye be say omo our institutions are so much under attack because whatever they bring, our politicians disagree. It's a technocracy, no one can say. Into a babu bona JJ Muses, de biada, ya pekeba, near Shegu form, near Pekaba, near Shegu form. Me Makawa say, this year and next year election year, no, the political parties, especially the NDC, a prescription of the weakness of this administration, how do you fulfill that prescription? No? The NDC and people seem to be brave. And then on bet me, I just to Mama, and your Musua Miswadi no Modeba. MPP for seem to that's why I witness. I didn't think that's why Mujiri says, I see a 12 Musuma 8. Some come on the bar. Obia will sit up. So we will not run and go and take cover. Under incompetence, and I will try 8 years, and the way you're saying, say there be a no crowd and fashion my table also. More the planting for food and jobs, abba. Rearing for the and abba. More the school, one district, one from the abba. That is the measurement you are going to give the MPP.
Yes.
Once you are waiting in opposition, government is waiting. What is the thing that you are bringing on board? You better say. Oh, a better offer than that of the MPP, you know, consider. But it cannot be the usual cutlass and Wellington boot politics. In Chile and in Tuma politics.
I'm if I way in Sami Jamfi just drew my attention to BBR, maybe inadvertently, made a true about before say expose na omo position on forward sales, you know, different from what they are saying now. I think it's not entirely the case. I think that or no kase on only understanding of forward sales. Monday on the Miracles Bar, there was a debate as to whether forward sales anyway echo. So inti Sammy tells me say he never said say nya they are no moji forward sales and that's no munyebi. But in fact they also did forward sales. What he was
so specifically they not to see was say
say the government cannot also say announce minka government because when we want to take that over the government and then you politicize it. Cocoa board cannot say ye cocoa nyina e forward sales and your tongue.
There been see akase even in church the may no. Untimi nkase nyina for sport war.
Sure.
Enti ntimi nkase. Enti mene ne be ya argument say.
If your mom argument is on say woji tum say uton be sport.
Yeah.
The uton is sport no because I no born be cost factor that into the final price I would be well
it is up to Momo.
I think that is essentially
it is up to it crown was our boy. What we need to do is that when it was the turn of the NDC, so do our crossroad now. Sport and forward, you know, how was it being applied? Then we compare and see, say, oh, okay, and maybe almost turn sport. Now, this is a one was you know, almost a factor into the final price. Cocoa crashing and simple. Then we move on. We cannot be back and forth on matters of national interest whilst the truth is sitting and looking at us. It is from that angle I support. Every more time, you know, sport any forward, no, almost the bar, almost strike it. Now, Cocoa, a beneficiary of it. It's a power. It's a second. I didn't at this time. So, suddenly, Santina, I didn't assess Abriwi. No more fancy, but we should not always hammer on something that is status quo. At the home, Ajo because of Justin and Sanzania. So, that's my point. I feel that Obia or Pesa Ghana to Swabati was Sibianobi, and you be Bia, let's see, very, very partisan. It can be true. And I'm more a technocrats, no, because say Biaoka say technocrats no more beyond them because Ghana is dealing with those people. You didn't go to the World Cocoa Pricing Cup. You went to Cocoa Board for Uruma.
Yes.
One number something in an honor Eddie Juma on behalf of Ghana. They may have their minuses until those minuses are brought to bear. Ghana knows that what is our pricing and determination of that pricing. There are a special group of people here.
Simple as that. We don't have to get into a situation where we debate everything.
Yes.
That thing has to stop.
But no cranny say, some conform a ratio, Ghana ratio, MPP and NDC. Ghana ratio, Omajina across all regimes. Obi awakati across all regimes, loyalty will shift unless few instances. It will come to Ghana. It will not be part of the NDC and MPP again. Mesre. Since I made a miracle debate, Obi debate, Major Dissena, the Omunina person arrival at Nese. The cocoa farmer should be the bigger beneficiary of all the noise that we are all making here this afternoon.
Of course.
If the cocoa farmer is still wailing there, and let's say, what argument, maybe argument, Wadarma. And see, baby, yeah, and see, baby, it's most a penny, major honor,
computer selection and placement.
I don't know, but then there was a brew.
Are they?
So on now.
Nothing the Juma
money independence school. No, not.
Na Juma you try the canon will be.
I said, no, the force on that.
But man, I think your friend is saying, A+ way now.
A+, a weekend.
Saturday, September 23rd.
Oh, weekend
2023. 10 a.m. Gomwa Pomadze School near Winneba Junction.
I don't know independent candidate.
Now I just to be independent candidate.
And they plan to dress on the parliament.
In the A+ Papa Daniel Kwesi Obeng, aka Dan, when you're a friend, nay, no. September 23rd, 2023. That's at 10 a.m. Gomwa Pomadzi School near Winneba Junction. Na inti a year in